Every time I watch a Fwoosh review, my circuits sizzle. Wait a second, you sound damn familiar. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today I'm taking a look at the Hasbro Transformers Siege War for Cybertron Ironhide. And hell, just because I got them both at the same time, let's take a look at Prowl too. Now I'm still new to the Hasbro Transformers scene. I've waited for years and years and years, and I thought I had found my perfect Transformers line with the Toys Alliance MAS line. They're huge, they look good with my 6-inch collection, but man, they're so slow. They just trickle out one a year, if that. But after seeing the Siege figures over and over at Walmart, it finally got to me, especially after I got my man Soundwave. And then I thought, oh, I'm gonna need a Megatron to go with that. Optimus Prime looks great. How about a Hound? And then it's just snowballed from there. Plus it helps that G1 is my Transformers, and these are just so G1. It almost hurts how nostalgic these are. Looking at the packages, it's what we see with all the Siege figures. You see the figure, you see the weapons. On the side, we get this cool Cybertron with the arc blasting off some of the other characters. Autobots! On the back, what each figure can do, what it comes with, what it transforms into, the Cybertron vehicles. And on the side, damn, if these were printed out 8x10s, even poster size, I would have to collect all these because everything I've seen on the side of the package here, I don't do packaging, but man, that's just too pretty. And I hear there's blacklight stuff. It looks like there's some kind of writing right here and then some kind of symbol, but I don't have a blacklight to actually show it. You can just barely see it in the light reflection somewhere right there. And then with Soundwave, there was actually something hidden on the bottom flaps. I'm not sure if that's true for these, but we're gonna check. Nope, nothing on Prowl, and nothing for Ironhide. Man, no scavenger hunt stuff. Pulling the figures out, I'm definitely gonna need the instructions because I don't know what it is. I used to be able to do this blindfolded. Now, I need every little step. And even though they do give us the steps for this, I still have to go back. What does that turn? How does that flip? What the hell are they doing here? Okay, before getting into the actual review, when I open these guys up, I've noticed the few I've opened, there's always something a little bit off in the way they pack them. And I don't know if it's to save space or what, but with Prowl, you get him out of the package, you try to stand him up, and he doesn't really want to because he's trying to balance on the wheels. He essentially has roller skates on. I'm coming, Brom! And it took me a minute, but the heels weren't popped out. So you pop those out, you get actual feet for him to stand on. With Ironhide, it's a little bit more subtle. In the package, his chest is flat from top to bottom. But you start looking at the back, and the hood is actually down a little bit, which juts it out just a little bit and gives you that classic look of, you know, the way his chest was. What's going on here is there's two slots right here, and then kind of a ledge here in those slots, and you get that classic look to them. But getting these guys out of the package, I definitely like one more than the other. Now looking at Prowl first, I like him, okay? Make no mistake about that. It's Prowl. But there's some emptiness here and there that just kind of, I don't know, it throws me off. Especially from the profile, looking straight through here, his legs look a little bit hollow. His back, his waist, he's a little bit blocky, but damn it, he looks like Prowl, so I can't complain too much. He's got the hood for the chest. He's got those damn wings on his head. He's got the car doors sticking out like wings back here. I like these clear pieces down here, kind of give it a techie look. And it follows the Siege aesthetic with all the little design elements all the way through it, just to throw your eye a little bit. Sure, it looks weird from here, but from here, oh yeah, he looks kind of badass. No light piping to the eyes, but I like how the light blue kind of reflects the light. It looks a little bit like it's glowing, but you get Ironhide in hand, and this, he's chunky. When you think Ironhide, you think brawny, not brawn, brawny. He's just a tough robot. And the figure conveys that. It's thick in places, the big chunky hands. When do I get to bust some Deceptichops? And the same goes for the legs. They're solid. Yeah, there's no emptiness to the back. And even looking, well, okay, there's some hollowness, but for the most part, rather than the hollowness here too, but the silhouette from all angles is full. And then again, has the Siege elements. It doesn't quite have the paint that Optimus and Megatron and Soundwave have, but it has the design elements that, oh well, there's some paint down here. That's just from kicking Decepticon ass, I guess. And then There's Ironhide. But Prime! Like I mentioned with Prowl, it seems a little bit empty when you look at it. It seems a little bit thin in places. But damn it, if that doesn't allow for just some great action poses. I mean, his tilt for the ankles, he's going to get his leg way out there. And because of the transformation, it also gives him good ankle forward and back. So he's a poseable little Autobot. But getting to Ironhide, the ankles don't have any forward and back. So if there was any gripe I had with the line overall, especially the bigger robots, it's that they don't have a lot of forward action. So you have to kind of bend the knees to get them to lean forward a little bit. There is tilt on the inside, which has nothing to do with transformation. They put that there simply for stances. But if you try to force, well, there it is. There's not a metal rod in there. It's just pegs and peg hole. So if you try to go forward and back, you're going to pop that thing out. And that's kind of the same. I think we had this with Soundwave. This flap coming down onto the leg, it kind of sticks out a little bit. I pin it in, it pops back out. And the thing about that flap, it's only there to get it out of the way for the transformation. The leg looks okay even with that wheel showing. If you wanted to pop that off, it's okay, but man, you definitely look at it and go, well, there used to be something right there. And I was about to say, I don't know why they didn't put a metal pin in there. It may pop off on purpose in case you get too crazy with it, you know? If you were here, maybe you'd break something. If you were like, is there ankle pivot? Going over articulation, there is a ball joint in the head. It's not, quit swiveling. A little bit forward, a little bit back. A little bit of tilt, but there is a crazy joint in the shoulder. You can see it if you rotate the shoulder down. Rotation at the shoulder, and then you can bring it all the way out. Then when you come back down, this shoulder piece wants to rotate with it, so you got to kind of play with that every time you move the arm. There's a rotation at the bicep. Elbow comes up to 90. Rotation at the hand. Rotation at the waist. Hinge and swivel at the hips comes up all the way, back all the way, out all the way. In fact, high kick. The swivel right below that. Knee comes all the way back. He can kick his own back. What reaches that? Oh, there you go. Kicks his ass. Hinge at the ankle goes back, goes forward, and then there's rocker ankle. For Ironhide, essentially the same thing. Little ball joint at the head, little tilt, rotation, arm swivel around, and then it hinges out, but the hinge is a little bit high, so you see some of the arm mechanics when you bring it up. Swivel at the bicep. Elbow comes up to out just barely past 90. Rotation at the wrist, rotation at the waist. Hinge and swivel at the hips, forward, back, out, swivel right below. Knee comes back 90. And then nothing at the ankle except for rocker in, pretty much 90. And then we're gonna transform these bad boys. You bring the arms up and out, rotate at the shoulder so the tires are pointing up, and then you take this whole piece and pop it up, over, and back behind the head. Now I'm not gonna show the transform back to robot, but it took me a minute to figure out this piece right here. It comes forward and covers up the hood. But when you go back to robot mode, this slips underneath the neck. And it took me way too long to figure out, but you get to here, and then that slides in, comes back over the head, and then you have the chest again. But we're going this way, so back, rotate that down to cover up the hood hole, bring this piece in, and that holds that in place. You want to flip the ankles back in down here, and then when you flip them down, there is a peg right here, a peg hole. You flip this into place and plug those in on both sides. Rotate the waist all the way around, lay Prowl down into the hood of the car, well, up into his own back. There's several pegs in here. You got to get them all lined up, kind of force the feet together, and then you rotate this up. You want to bring this as far as possible right here, and then kind of rotate up into it while trying to get up under the windshield. But if you look right here, the crotch piece needs to go inside that right there, so you're flat across the bottom. And then you shut the doors. This, it just seems really out of place. You got to shove the thing really far together to try to get the pins to go in here. And even still, it tries to pop back apart. You rotate the arms in, bringing the wheels into the wheel well, and then you bring the arms back, shoving them under the car. And this is nifty. I like the clearness of the wheels right here. And it's cool, but I don't know, it just feels a little bit plain. There's not a lot to it. It looks like a white surfboard with clear wheels, I guess. And then when it comes to the acid pellet strike blaster, this piece right here, which is off in the package, it tells you to put it on there. It's actually the lights for the top of the police car. And then for Ironhide, you open up the chest, you shove the head down in there, bring the chest back up all the way, go to the back, flip that piece down, rotate the arms up. Now at first I thought it does like this and like this. No, that doesn't work, because you get to the next step in the instructions and you think, what in the hell's going on here? You rotate up here and here. Then you rotate it here and here. See the peg? Plugs in over here. You're gonna bring the arms up and into the cab, kinda, and then those pin together right there. Flip those leg flaps up, open up the front of the legs, and then the first time I did this, well, right now, it seems really stuck. It wants you to rotate the upper cab down. What you do a little bit is pull up, and then it just comes around. Pin the legs together right there. Bring the arms down into the body of it, and then shut these. Now there's several things going on. Peg, peg hole, peg, peg hole, peg, peg hole. So you gotta kind of get the arms lined up first. It takes a minute. Then peg the back. The side flaps, peg right here. And once you get those in, they quit flopping around and flying around and getting in your way. And then you bring the front bumper up and peg it right there. And I like this. This is very Cybertronian. It's got a little bit more going on for it than Prowl. The tires spin, and I guess if they need a minivan on Cybertron, there you go. He also comes with the Doom Blast Forge Launcher. In the instructions, it shows this turning down. Oh, I guess it goes like that. And then it becomes a hammer. But for most of my purposes, it's going to be the rifle. I guess it launches some stuff out the end of it. Probably some Doom Blasts. And of course, he can hold it in robot mode, but it also plugs in up here. Of course you're gonna come off every single time. For size, Ironhide is about 5 3/4. Prowl is at 5 inches. For size comparison, here they are with the Siege Optimus Prime. I feel like Prowl should be a little bit taller and a little bit more slender, but it still works, especially when you put him next to Hound. So at the end of the day, 2 great additions to my Autobot shelf. I'm still liking Siege. I thought I had gotten caught up in the hype, and especially after Soundwave, it's like, oh, I need more. But even getting more, I'm still feeling the hype. I need more Autobots. I need more Decepticons. I can't wait for Skyfire. I need Omega Supreme, who I never had when I was a kid, so that'll be a first for me. And he's a damn impressive looking figure, so along with these, it's gonna be a hell of a Transformers display. Now, I don't like Prowl as much as I like Ironhide. And it's not just because I remember Ironhide a lot more from back in the day. Prowl just seems a little bit empty, a little bit clunky. But at the same time, he can pose a little bit more dynamic than Ironhide, so you get him down into poses, those ankles out. He actually has forward and back with the ankle. It's just a little bit more fun to play with. But Ironhide's no slouch either. I didn't pick up Six Gun because I'm not familiar with him. I didn't pick up Chromia for the same reason. I'm trying to stick with what I remember from when I was a kid, those first couple of seasons, and then the movie. It's all an attempt to save a little bit of money. I don't want to go whole hog into this. Not yet, at least. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.